The American forces in Iraq were targeted in two separate drone attacks on Wednesday. One of the armed drones caused minor injuries to the troops, even though the American military has managed to intercept the unmanned aerial vehicle. Washington at this moment is on heightened alert for activity by Iran-backed groups as regional tensions continue to soar in the Israel-Hamas war. Now, as per the American officials, the first attack that took place early on Wednesday involved at least two one-way drones, which targeted the Al-Assad base. One of the drones was intercepted, but it still managed to explode, resulting in some minor injuries and damaging some equipment. Some American troops were being evaluated for possible traumatic brain injury because of these drone attacks. The second drone attack targeted the Al-Harir air base, which houses the American forces in the northern Iraqi city of Erbil. The Iraqi semi-autonomous Kurdistan Region Security Agency, the Kurdistan Counterterrorism, has said that the armed drones fell in a deserted area near the Harir district. A little-known group called the Tashkil al-Warithin, or the Inheritors, claimed responsibility for the attack on Al-Harir. Last week, the Iraqi armed groups aligned with Iran had threatened to target the U.S. interests if Washington continues to support the state of Israel against Hamas in the Gaza Strip. The Pentagon has rushed air defenses and ammunition and nearly about $2 billion worth of ammunition and other weapons for the state of Israel, which has been handed over to the Israelis to be dropped on the Palestinian territory of the Gaza Strip. Now, these attacks in American interest have come just a day after the Gaza hospital was attacked in what many people allege was an Israeli airstrike. Now, Israel has blamed the blast on a failed rocket launch by the Palestinian faction Islamic group, but a lot of people are even questioning, does Islamic Jihad, the Palestinian faction, even have the firepower of the kind of explosion that was witnessed at the hospital where nearly about 500 people have died? In Iraq, tensions over the war in Gaza have already been pretty high. Last week, Iraq's top Shiite Muslim cleric, the Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani, had condemned the state of Israel and called on the world powers to stand up for the besieged territory of Gaza. The leaders of the Iraqi armed groups have blamed the state of Israel for the attack on the hospital. Many have condemned the Americans for supporting the state of Israel and have said that the Americans are complicit in the war crimes that have been committed. The Kataib Hezbollah, which is a powerful armed faction with close ties to Iran, has accused the Americans of supporting the state of Israel and has said that the Americans should immediately leave Iraq. The Iraqi politician Hadi al-Amiri, the leader of the political and the military Al-Badr organization, which is close to Iran, has also blamed the state of Israel for the attack on the hospital. Last week, he threatened to target American interests if Washington intervenes and continues to provide Israel with more and more deadly weapons. Now, the United States has nearly about 2,500 troops in Iraq and 900 more in neighboring Syria. It claims that these American troops, which are on Iraqi soil and also, interestingly, on Syrian soil, are on a mission to advise and assist the local forces in combating the Islamic State. But the fact is, the American presence is deeply resented. The American forces are seen as occupying forces. The American forces, both in Iraq and also in Syria, are seen as a product of American imperial designs in the region. In the past few years, the Iranian-backed militias in Iraq have regularly targeted the American forces and the American embassy in Baghdad with rockets. Now, these kind of attacks have abated under a truce that has been in place since last year, and Iraq has had a period of relative calm since the Americans invaded Iraq back in 2003. The American officials have accused Kataib Hezbollah of previous attacks on American interests. The group has denied these claims. Dozens of members of the Popular Mobilization Forces took to the streets on Tuesday to condemn the gruesome attack that took place on the hospital in the Gaza Strip. Now, the Popular Mobilization Forces is an Iraqi state paramilitary organization that contains many Iran-backed factions. The demonstrators also chanted anti-American and anti-Israeli slogans and said that they wanted to storm the U.S. embassy. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.